Hello guys, welcome back. So it's again been some days since I streamed. So I think I was not satisfied with what the curriculum I had created using ChatGPT. So it took a lot of time to rework the curriculum, and because I was what was happening was I was just making the same initial foundational content again. That was what was mentioned in the curriculum. I went to the VS Code, I was changing directory and just the basics which should take less time. So if you see in the last few streams, they finished very quickly. So I was not very satisfied with it. So uh, it should have been more in depth. That was my hunch, and I think I was right. And I reworked the curriculum so that it is more in depth. I get more practical knowledge rather than just foundational knowledge being shared with you and learned by me again and again. So this is this is the main reason. Also, there's some projects that were there, and I was busy with them. So now, hopefully, with the new curriculum, we'll be able to learn much more deeply and very useful content and concepts we can understand. So in the last few sessions, we were just working around the VS Code and Python, and how to change directory, create directory, how to take the file from staging, see the status, see the logs, how to commit them with the messages. So all that was done. It was quite good when I initially learned it, but in the like last 2 or 3 sessions, it was just repeating again and again, and that is not what I want. I want to utilize my time to the best of its ability, and also have some real life examples uh, and have some skills that are used by the developers, and have those concepts also handy, and basically that is why we changed the curriculum. So if if now I go to the curriculum, although it says day 8, but will this is day 10 or the 10th stream, and I will treat it accordingly. So here, uh, just uh, starting from what we are going to learn. The weekly theme is first real system understanding, the front end, API, backend. We learn the relations between them, and then controlled extension, debugging, code reading. And the weekly project is full stack flow starters. So that is the sequence that ChatGPT says is will be followed in the stream, but I'm sure it will not be exactly as this. So we will try to learn the mental model first, open tools, create folder repo, verify versions, generate in a starter. That is the full stack flow starter using cursor. Execute setup commands exactly and create the minimum files. And once inspect outputs and note file ownership, commit baseline and update notes. Okay, great. So by the end of today, I should have a clean starter repo for full stack starter, know exactly which files exist, run the baseline once without guessing, and explain in plain English what the system is supposed to do before it becomes more complex. So this week's stack is Python 3, CLI. CLI is command line instructions, and VS terminal git. The weekly artifact is full stack flow starter. So today it is building the frame of machine before we go into the features. So the project folder repo that we have to create is week02 full stack flow starter. Okay, stack for this week: React plus Express plus local JSON response plus Git. So I think now we are delving into quite deep understanding, because none of this was there till the previous sessions. So let's see how we work around this. Open these exact windows. Finder Explorer, it's open. Cursor, VS Code, one terminal for front end. Yeah, browser ready for localhost testing. Okay. Create the project exactly in this order. Week 0, make there, yeah. CD, we go into this directory and then make backend front end. Then we go into backend. Then we initialize, install express course, touch index. This is creation. We go to front end, create React, CD, init. Okay. Create a simple full stack inside the existing folders. Front end, React single page, one button, get message, to backend response below button, backend node plus express, one endpoint, get API message, return JSON. So for this, I think I would have to open cursor and also share the app with this. I'm going to open a new window in cursor. I'm trying to navigate to the, yeah. I'm installing the updates in cursor. It will open in a moment. So this is the, I've opened the cursor window in the directory. I'll press Command J to open the terminal. Yeah, we are in RTFS. Now it says create this project in this order. So I have to week 02 full stack flow starter. So week 2, let's write week 02 full stack flow starter. Go to edit. Yeah. And the folder should be created here when I enter this command. It's created. Now I change the directory and go into stack. If I write PWD, it will show me where we are at. Now I think we have to create backend and front end. So in there, two folders, backend and front end, are created. We go to backend. We are in backend. Now npm initialize -y. Okay. Row 2 backend package JSON name backend version this description index. So let me check what init space hash y does. Okay. It is used to quickly initialize a new Node.js project by automatically generating a package.json file. So that we saw it. There was a package.json file in it in backend. Well, the standard NLP now several versions such as project name, version, and description. MyFlex skips this entirely, applies default, instant setup, current directory, default, main entry point, default scripts, license, great. Mhm. So we have done it. We have uh, created the Node.js, basically the JSON file package, type common JS. Okay. Now next, what we should do is install Express cores. So let's see what this would do. So let's see what this would do when we type it. So course is a Node.js middleware Express that connects course response headers. Mhm. So what is course? Uh, Course is used in Node.js development. Two essential libraries, Express and Course. And reading them. So Express, install Express. Okay, so there are two different uh, libraries, Express and Course. Fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node.js. Simplifies building web servers and REST APIs by handling routes, requests, and responses. A middleware package that enables cross-origin resource sharing. So when you build a backend server with Express, browser will block requests made to it from different domain. For example, React app on local trying to access an Express API on local host. The CORS package allows you to safely bypass this restriction by telling the browser that your server permits request from specific of or all origins. Typically set them up in a main file server, for example 0.53. Require Express, require CORS, enable CORS for all routes, use CORS. Let's get into a bit more detail. Method get path users, list all users, users ID, get single users, post, create user, put, replace user, patch, update, delete user. Okay. Express validator, handling that sets course responses header. Tell browser which origins can read responses from your server. This was what was mentioned in the Google search. Okay, so I will now install both the scores and npm install this course added 67 packages, 16, 23, looking for run npm fund for details. Run npm fund. Backend, open collective express, course, express 5, body parser, handler, HTTP error, mime, send, serve, path to regex. Okay. Now, next thing is touch index.js. So if I create ls node modules package log package index.js. Now we go to front end. In that, npx create react app. So let's see what this command would do. npx is a tool used to bootstrap a new React application. So the front end is on React, back end is on Node.js, and expresses cores are installed. Setting up Webpack, Babel, ECL automatically. Node.js. You must have Node.js installed on the machine. Okay, why it is even more next. Okay, right now we'll use npx create react app. npx create react. Need to install the file. Okay, to proceed. If I type frontend, will frontend. So it create another project directory is this, I think, week 02. When I didn't write the directory, it didn't install in the project directory. Oh, I had to I had to write using a dot. I think there was a dot there, but I ignored it. So let's wait for this installation. I I only had to write dot instead of front end. Till this installs, let's see. Okay, build production ready REST APIs with Express, including routing, middleware, validation, error handling, and best practices. NPM minute my Express course. Helmet Morgan. What is Helmet Morgan? Require Express course, require Express port process, middleware, app user, security headers, helmet. Course cross origin requests. Parse URL encoded bodies. Get users, get ID, single user, create user, replace user. Put patch, update users, delete. So the React app is installed. So development server run build bundles app into static files of production. Use this tool and copies for dependency and scripts into app directory. So when I came into front end, okay, to that. Hmm. Yeah, this is still being installed. Next, git init. What does code space dot do? Hmm. Code, the specific directory, specific code, open an existing window, reuse window. OD, compare. Okay. So React app is installed. Now, our curriculum doesn't say to do npm start. What it says is to open these files after setup. So first let me change to the folder, go to week 2, initialize the git. Then code So open Visual Studio. Okay, now and I open the files back in backend. I have index.js and frontend source app.js. Backend package.json. I don't know why it tells me to open and that all these in Visual Studio, but I'm opening it here. Package.json. Backend index.js. Nothing is there. Package.json. Okay. Now, what it says is that paste this into cursor chat GPT exactly. Create a simple full stack app inside the existing folders, front end, React single page, one button, get message, show backend response below the button. Backend node on endpoint, get API message, returns JSON message hello from backend. Keep it very minimal, styling framework, show exact file contents for backend window, show exact commands to run backend front end separately. So in backend terminal 1, so I use new terminal. Okay, and I think before this also, okay, yeah, sorry, I was not sharing the screen. So I ran the prompt. It told it to create a simple full stack app, front end React single page, get message, backend response, Node Express, one endpoint. Yeah, these are the constraints, and this is what it said to create two terminals. So I will run these two commands in the terminal for backend and for front end. Now, before this, what what is being told is to add a readme file and see the mental model how it works. So in nodes readme, okay, this is right, this exact flow. I don't think there's a readme yet in the files that are created. Okay, there is a readme. Yeah, there is a readme, but okay, we'll go through it. Before user clicks button, front end React, API call fetch, backend express route, JSON response comebacks, content updates, UI. Yeah. So okay, backend setup in terminal 1, go to backend. Node run node index.js. Express require express course. So let me see what is there in index.js. So it's require express.js. I think app listen code backend running on local port. So port, okay, port they've set as 4000. And this port is used, so if we just change the value, it will be changed at all the places. Hello from backend. So node in if I go to backend and I run node index.js, backend running on localhost. Open browser manually, and if I type message hello from backend, internal to go to front end, internal to I go to front end, I'm now in front end and run npm start. npm create script starts content. So I go to app.js. Constant asset message use state get message wait fetch Save the file and wait for browser to reload. I think there is another app running here. It is now opening 3001 because something is running in 3000. And this in the browser, click get message. Hello from backend. Open frontend source, identify these exact lines. Use state. Store CY state. So use state. Go to use state from React. This message use state. It sends the request. Await fetch. It sends the request. Set message updates the UI. It is working, but would need to understand it a bit deeper. So now I'm trying to understand the different commands. And part 2, this is the dining room. It is what user sees and interacts with, like the menu and the table. Backend. This is the kitchen. It is hidden from user, but it prepares everything. API is the waiter. It takes the customer's order from the dining room, brings to the kitchen, and returns with the food. Okay, setting up the kitchen. You created a mini server, your kitchen that lives on your computer. Require express. Constant const express is equal to require express. You hired a head chef named Express. Express is a tool that makes it very easy to build web servers. Require course. App.use course. By default, web browsers block the dining room from talking to a kitchen if they are running on different ports. Yeah, because that's 3001 and that is 4000. Course is like giving waiter a special VIP pass. So the browser allows the delivery. App.get API message. This is a recipe in your kitchen. Get API/API/message. Recipe in your kitchen. You are telling your server if anyone comes to the address API/message and asks for information, send them back a little package of data that says hello from backend. So in the backend, get app.get API request response. If there's a message, request.json message hello from backend. App listen 5000. You open the kitchen for business on port 5000. Port is just a specific channel. You open your browser, you bypass the dining room and walk straight in the task for data yourself. Okay, that is why there was raw text on the screen. Part 2 is setting up the dining room, the front end. In this step, you build the user interface, the web page that your customers actually click. Import use state from React. Use state, think of it as a blank plate on the table. So for your web page to remember information, okay, you created specific blank plate called message. Right now it is empty. Set message is the tool you will use to put constant fetch message async. The set of instruction you give the waiter. You are saying go to the kitchen at port 5000, grab whatever data they have at API message, and when you come back, put that data on message plate using set message. It's getting more clearer right now. I'm not focusing on the syntax or like what is the order of how we have to write, but the basic concepts are getting clearer to me. I hope it is the same for you, uh, because this is, I think, the most basic version of seeing how the backend front end react via API. So what it says is the const fetch message async. This is in const get message async response await. Okay. Button and p sections. So visual part. You created a button that when clicked triggers the waiter fetch message. Below the button you created a paragraph that displays whatever is currently on the message place. When you click the button, your code reached out to the kitchenable, grabbed the hello from backend, and slapped it on the web page. Memory of your web page. Fetch the messenger that sends a request across the internet to ask the program set message screen updater. When you give this a new piece of text, it tells your web page to instantly refresh and show the new text to the user. App get listener. It waits patiently for the fetch request to come knocking on a specific door. The incoming order, like submitting a form, it will live with. It backs up your data neatly into format called JSON. JavaScript objects so the frontend can easily read it. Nice. Change backend response to Ashish system working. Okay, if I change to the backend to I'm changing it the backend Ashish's system working. Save it. And should I run it again? Or maybe try to refresh the browser first. It's not working. So it says save backend, refresh the browser. Click button, confirm, new text message appears. No, it's not. New is not appearing. So now I think you can see. So I ran it again. Now Ashish system working. Change frontend URL from API message to API messages. So if I change the backend to API messages, save this, and run it again, then try to refresh. There is nothing. I go to inspect network. What is it? Console. Failure to load server responded with status of 404 not found. Syntax error. Doc type is not valid. So I will change it again to switch. Save. Now let's see if this works. Yeah, it is working. wrap backend response and set timeout. The bullets in readme. What exists now, how to run it, what broke during the debug. Git status, git add, git commit. Okay. Go to cursor. Status. Git add. Status. Git commit. 802 rule stack flow starter. Status. Great. So let's see what else is left on the sheet for today. If all checks backend terminal shows are running, it does. Visiting HTTP local IP message returns JSON in the browser, it did. Content shows get message, clicking the button displays yes. After changing backend response, content shows new text, it did. Clicking the route is expected console, yeah. Readme contains run commands for backend and frontend. Okay. With the frontend by changing, we did. Confirm status and not expected success. It closed, click the button in frontend. With this I can try. So I close the backend and then I run the so backend is closed now. Now I will try to get us the same front end. Uncut time errors, fail to fetch get message, execute dispatch, run with file process dispatching. So fail to fetch, error connection refused. Restart the backend and confirm. Yeah. Remove app.use codes from the backend. Save the file. Click the button again. App server from backend temporarily. So if I this is remove. Okay. Remove the remove app. Remove app.use course. Where is this stuff? App dot use course. Okay, this is there. I remove it completely. Save it. And I try to run the stack again. It's still working. There's no security issue. Somehow there was no security issue. Optional wrap rest.json in set timeout 2000. What is rest.json? Where is rest.json? Hmm. Hmm. I'm asking cursor where and how to do it. Open backend index.js and suit app.get API message request and response. Temporarily change the response to response JSON message from this hello from backend, and in basically after the final curly brackets set timeout. Okay, after this set timeout. Out. So now if I run the, or I click the button again, it should be delayed. Hmm. So this is the change. Now if I go back, yeah. So do I know show the browser button? Yeah, show front end. We have seen them in detail using Gemini. Show backend. Okay, response I've added the timeout, explain chain. Yeah, okay. And documentation update readme. Its status stage changes only for a little to write one click on the message. Yeah. Repo folder for full stack flow starter. Minimum files created. Project runs. Which is expected deadline. Great. So I think we've covered the important parts, and I think this really was a much better session. I hope you'll agree also that this was much better than what we had previously. So in one session only, in roughly like 1.5 hours, we are able to create a basic server and understand the relation between front end, back end, and API with technical details and with concepts and plain English as well. We were also able to change some variables and see the errors. And yeah, this was a good session, and it says tomorrow we will build directly on today's verified state. So great session, guys. And I think hopefully next we'll build upon this and understand even more deeply uh, what is the relation, and what what errors and what different variation and nuances the front end, back end, and API have. So looking forward to meeting you guys, and hopefully the next session will be as uh, as comprehensive and as enlightening as this one. Thanks for being there. Bye bye.